The fragrance of selfless love that has drawn the world into one family. The truth of an eternal message that has been revealed through every act and word. The fulfillment in service that has been taught by relentless sacrifice. The Lord's own life is indeed His message.
Loving Sai Ram and greetings from the studios of Radio Sai Global Harmony at Prashanthi Nilayam. In the last few episodes, we have been taking a close look at how Baba's life is itself his message. Today, we wish to offer a comprehensive overview of the last few episodes so that we can prepare ourselves to examine how our lives must reflect his message. Let us begin by dipping a bit into science. Science says that basic to all electromagnetic phenomena is the quantum electromagnetic field. Believe it or not, the good old radio and TV work because of this electromagnetic field. The reason I brought in the electromagnetic field is because according to science, latent in the electromagnetic field are the electron and the photon, the quantum of light. But for the electron, you would not have TV, the cell phone, and so on. And but for the photon, you can't see. The point I'm making is simply that something which is latent becomes manifest only when conditions are appropriate. How is all this relevant to spirituality? In the following way. God is abstract, and latent in that abstract God are all virtues, including love and compassion. But how to make those virtues show up, manifest? Well, it is for that purpose that God created this world and put us all in it, so that we would be the agents through whom virtues manifest. In other words, God sent us here so that we would all become beacons of love and compassion. But alas, that is not what is happening in the world. And that exactly is why God has decided to come to help us out. And that is how our beloved Bhagwan Baba is now in our midst. As we saw in the last few episodes, Swami manifests his love and compassion in many different ways. Having seen all that, let us pause and ask, what exactly is Baba's message? How exactly has Swami revealed it? And what lessons does Baba's message have for all of us? The message is simple. Swami is telling us, "O humans, you are all verily the embodiments of love. Why then are you going about showing so little of love and compassion? Can you not see the world is crying out loud for love and compassion?" Unfortunately, wrapped up as we are in spiritual ignorance, we are not able to see clearly what is otherwise quite obvious. Just take a look at the so-called advanced world. In many ways, it appears to be full of the marvels of science and technology. What mesmerizes poor people everywhere is the high standard of living enjoyed by even the middle-class people in the so-called developed countries. Historically, this all started when America became the fountainhead of mass production, first introduced by Henry Ford. When Ford invented the automobile assembly line, he opened up huge employment opportunities. And that is how people began to immigrate to America from Europe in tens of thousands. America offered plenty of opportunities for people to work hard and lead a comfortable life even if one was not rich. However, Things began to change rapidly from around 1980s when robotic automation made a big entry into manufacturing. What factory workers once used to do, robos now did with greater speed, accuracy and efficiency. Corporations simply loved automation since robos worked 3 shifts, did not ask for salaries, did not go on strike, and did not require health care benefits. The net result was that automation led to large-scale unemployment.
I haven't even bothered to look.
These days, high-tech industry has become so sophisticated and automated that only the very skilled are able to get jobs. Even college degrees do not always help, since modern manufacturing requires very special knowledge. So what has happened as a result of all that science and technology? Job asymmetry and poverty have made a big entry even into the land of plenty and great opportunity. If you pause and think, you would realize that while knowledge has grown by leaps and bounds, compassion has taken a nosedive in advanced societies. That is what selfishness, greed, and hunger for profit do. They make some very wealthy, but at the cost of many. Is that right? Is that dharmic? Take healthcare. The very word means that care must be given to one who is not in good health. Till recently, hospitals did not function as for-profit organizations. They cared for the sick. No doubt they charged, but not exorbitantly as they now do with impunity. As some said, it is no longer health care, it is health business. But do the rich care? Hardly. Now take a look at what Swami said on 23rd November 1990 on the occasion of his 65th birthday.
కనుక పల్లలియందే ఇలాంటి పవిత్రమైన యొక్క శక్తిని అభివృద్ధి పరచాలని చెప్పి సంకల్పించుకొని 100 కోట్ల వ్యయం చేత మన ప్రశాంతి నియమనందు ఒక విధమైన వైద్యాలయం స్థాపించడానికి ప్రయత్నించాము. ఈ గుండె జబ్బు వస్తే కొన్ని లక్షలు వ్యయం చేసి అమెరికాకు వెళుతున్నారు. వీళ్ళ గతి ఏమిటి? వారిని చూచేటువంటి వారెవరు? పట్టణానికి వెళితే కలర్ నీళ్ళైనా వాళ్ళ ముఖాన్ని కొట్టరు. అలాంటి దురవస్థలను గుర్తించి మనము ఇక్కడ ఒక పెద్ద వైద్యాలయాన్ని నిర్మించాము. బైపాస్ సర్జరీ కానీ, లేక కిడ్నీ మార్చడం కానీ, లంగ్స్ ఆపరేషన్ చేయటం కానీ, బ్రెయిన్ ఆపరేషన్ చేయటం కానీ అన్నీ ఉచితంగానే.
People wondered whether a super speciality hospital would ever come up, but it sure did, exactly on the day Baba promised it would.
ఈ ప్రారంభోత్సవం కూడాను అప్పుడే నిర్ణయించుకున్నాం. 91 నవంబర్ 22 ఇది ప్రారంభోత్సవం చేస్తాం.
How did that happen? Because of Baba's unbounded love of people and his infinite compassion for all, especially the poor. Basically, Baba combined modern technological knowledge with compassion, and that did the magic. Now there are a few points one must pay careful attention to here. Firstly, Baba did not merely announce the starting of a hospital and leave it there. He became deeply involved in every aspect of it. The love that he constantly showed attracted many doctors to serve in various capacities. Even very reputed surgeons come from abroad for short spells and experience thereby the thrill of selfless service. Many doctors have left their jobs just to serve Swami full-time in his hospital, in an honorary capacity, I might add. Perhaps the most spectacular example is that of Dr. Bhatt, now 90 plus and still very active in sharing his wonderful lifelong experience with his students. Dr. Bhatt is a legend in himself, and many other students he has trained in Swami's hospital who now work in senior positions elsewhere. All this costs money, and people often wonder, where does the money come from? The answer is simple. It comes largely from people like you and me who are deeply touched by what Swami is doing and offer whatever they can. When all this is pointed out, people often say, of course, all this is great, but then only Sai Baba can do it. That is not true, because if we cannot do such things, then Swami would not have taken the trouble to set up such model hospitals. Let us analyze the issues involved, starting with money. Many people say, oh, where is the money for all this? Such hospitals cost a lot of money, and there is not enough money in the world to take care of the poor. That is not true. Money is not as scarce as people often make it out to be. Plenty of money is wasted every year. Money that could have been spent in a much better manner.
Oh, and they feel sorry for you. Deadliest place on earth, the Korengal Valley. We're not ready for this.
Take armaments. Do you know what is the total of the value of the official military budget of all the countries of the world put together? Well, the figure is $1 trillion. Here is what that figure means. If you think about it, that is a huge sum of money. By the way, that is just the routine defense budget. Now, if countries go to war, there is extra expenditure. For example, about $700 billion were spent in the recent Iraq war alone, and a lot more on treating the wounded soldiers. Every single day, there is so much conflict going on all around the globe, costing lives and money. Why all this waste of blood and money? Has it in any way seriously improved life for anybody and the cause of world peace? Just to give you a feel for this wastage, consider the 4 hospitals, 2 in Bangalore and 2 in Puttaparthi that Swami has established. Do you know how much it costs to run these 4 hospitals for one whole year? About $20 million. That is the annual revenue expenditure. In passing, take a look at these numbers, which gives you some idea of the number of patients treated in Swami's 2 super specialty hospitals from their inception till 31st December 2009. We leave you to convert these numbers into how many dollars the patients would have had to spend if they had to pay from their pockets. Swami's infinite compassion has provided all this help and service absolutely free. Nothing has been charged. The diagnosis, the treatment, the stay in the hospital, the medicines, food, not a penny. A state-of-the-art jet fighter costs about $350 million per aircraft. Add to that the cost of training the pilot, training maintenance, mechanics, and you can see how costs shoot up. And please remember that any Air Force ordering planes would not order anything less than a squadron, which means at least 15 aircrafts. You can easily figure out how much of money is involved. Truly speaking, all this kind of military armaments are seldom needed. Nevertheless, they are built and procured just to keep the military business in good shape. By the way, this is exactly what President Eisenhower warned about as far back as 1960 when he stepped down as the President of America.
Until the latest of our world conflicts, the United States had no armaments industry. We have been compelled to create a permanent armaments industry of vast proportions. Now, this conjunction of an immense military establishment and a large arms industry is new in the American experience. The total influence, economic, political, even spiritual, is felt in every city, every state house, every office of the federal government. Our toil, resources, and livelihood are all involved. So is the very structure of our society. In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex. The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist. We must never let the weight of this combination endanger our liberties or democratic processes. We should take nothing for granted.
Wastages via excessive armaments is just one sad aspect of human stupidity. There are many other ways in which people waste money, such as in gambling, in unwanted luxury, and even in ostentatious weddings. Does money really have to be wasted when it can be put to much better use by helping those in distress and misery? Let us pause and think, how and why have all these aberrations happened? The answer is simple. Because the head has got delinked from the heart and allowed to roam about as it wants. Let us go back to the point we started with in the beginning. We told you then that when discussing Swami's projects, people often say, of course all this is great, but then only Sai Baba can do it. What they are trying to say is that money is scarce and only the magic of Sai Baba can pull in money. Sai Baba is God and only God can do such things. But listen, has not Swami told us again and again that we are also God?
భగవంతుడు సర్వత్రా ఉంటున్నాడు. సర్వులు భగవత్ స్వరూపమే.
God is everywhere. All are the embodiments of the divine.
If we feel for the poor as much as Baba does, then we too would do all that we can to wipe out their tears. As regards to money being scarce, the real point is that money is not scarce. It is partially wasted and partly locked up with people who do not wish to share it. Mercifully, there are wealthy people like Bill Gates and Warren Buffett who give a lot of money for helping those in need. And there are also people who are so moved by poverty that they just roll up their sleeves and plunge to help against great odds. I do not have time to go into it, but you sure must have heard the story of Greg Mortensen of America, who had nothing to start with and yet built many schools for children in the remote mountainous regions bordering Pakistan and Afghanistan. There are hundreds of such examples all over the world, and the amazing thing is that often it is the poor who take the initiative and succeed. Unfortunately, they do not make the news, and that's why we do not know much about them. The question now becomes, how do these people pull it off? Well, they manage to do it because they respond to Baba's call to them from their heart. He is the one who does everything, and all that these people do is to allow their body and mind to be Swami's instruments. Not easy, but then they are compulsively driven to respond to his call. That is what Swami is telling us all the time. You too can do it if only you allow yourself to become truly my instrument. In fact, I'm not even asking you to do big projects. Even small ones would do. Only you must put your heart and soul into it 100%. I'm not looking for quantity. Instead, I care only about the quality of your sacrifice. The problem is that you're not quite willing and find 100 reasons to excuse yourself.
Dear viewers, just think about it. Can we honestly say that we do not understand Baba's message and we are not fit to be his instruments in spite of the flexibility that he gives us? Claiming ourselves to be devotees of Swami, is it not correct on our part to spend at least a part of our energies, time and money in ways that will really please him? As the 85th year of Advent draws closer, it is time that we ponder, reflect and take action about this question. Do join us tomorrow for the next episode in continuation of this series. Till then, Jai Sai Ram.